guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to be talking about Candida overgrowth, what it is, what are the symptoms, and what you can do to make it a little bit better. So essentially Candida overgrowth occurs when there is too much yeast growing in your gut. So the most common symptoms of Candida overgrowth are aggressive sugar cravings, extreme fatigue, having yeast infections every single month, skin issues, eczema, rashes, acne, mood swings, feeling inflamed, puffiness. I believe that a lot of people suffer from Candida overgrowth, but they don't even know they have it. The good thing is that you can make your own test for Candida overgrowth at home. It is a very simple test, and what you do is you get a glass of water first thing in the morning, and then you spit on that glass of water. And so if your saliva remains in the surface, that shows that you're fine. But if you start seeing how strings of saliva appear and go down almost like roots of plants, that shows that is a firm indicator that you are indeed experiencing Candida overgrowth. Say you see this in the morning, you wake up, you're like, oh, I have Candida overgrowth, what can I do now? The first thing that you should always do is remove all types of sugars from your diet, processed sugars and natural sugars. Why is that? Because yeast thrives on sugar. The more sugar you eat, the more yeast will grow. That means we need to cut out fruit, we need to cut out carbs, we need to cut out, again, processed meats. A lot of processed meats that we find in the supermarket do contain sugars and lots of additives. Dairy is another big one we should not be eating. Yeast, because obviously we do have yeast overgrowth, so we don't want to be consuming even more yeast. Caffeine is a no-no. That was the hardest part for me, because I enjoy coffee so much. Okay, so now I'm gonna pick a tea that contains no caffeine or sugar. Probably go for a mint tea. Per cactus, caffeine free. What can you eat? That's the question. What can we actually eat? You bear in mind that this diet should not be a long-term diet, because on the long term it is not sustainable. We should never ever eliminate food groups. But as a short-term strategy to get rid of yeast, it does work. Amazing foods that will help your yeast disappear or reduce will be coconut oil, because coconut oil has amazing benefits, being antibacterial, antifungical. Apple cider vinegar is amazing for detoxing, cleanses your gut, it cleanses your liver. So we essentially, what we want to be doing is detoxifying our whole body. And then of course add your leafy greens, eat your broccoli, eat your zucchini, eat your aubergine, eat your cauliflower, eat green beans. All the greens are good. However, we should stay away from starchy vegetables such as potatoes, such as pumpkin, because starch also contains a little bit of sugar. Protein. We can eat all types of protein, but we need to make sure that the sources of protein that we consume don't have antibiotics and are as clean as possible. So you can eat chicken, you can eat turkey, you can eat pork, you can eat beef, you can eat fish, you can have eggs, but make sure they're clean. The source of this protein is as clean as possible. Another things that we can eat would be garlic. Many years ago, garlic was used as a very strong antibiotic, a natural one, and I use it every day. In Spain, we pretty much make most of our foods with garlic, so I actually love the taste of garlic. And then you can go for non-glutinous carbs. So quinoa, for example, that's a grain. try not to exceed it, but have a little bit of it once in a while. So this is what I'm having for breakfast today. It's just a chia pudding. I use chia seeds, unsweetened almond milk, cacao powder, and some stevia. And then I added some pumpkin seeds and some almonds, and I can tell you guys, this breakfast is absolutely delicious, super nourishing, and it will make you feel so good. So this is day 2 of the Candida cleanse diet, and I just made lunch. I made this salad with lots of greens, some tomatoes, some chicken, some almond cucumber, and as a dressing I added some olive oil, apple cider vinegar, and salt, and a drizzle of lemon, and I'm sure this is gonna be super delicious. So the Candida diet works in different stages. The first stage is elimination. So we want to essentially, what we want to do in the first stage of this diet is starve yeast. So we're not gonna be giving Candida or yeast what it wants, what it's craving. Then the second period of time, so what I like to do is I do 1 month of each. So during the second month, we would be introducing antifungical. How do you say? I know it in Spanish, antifungical, maybe. In the second month, we would be looking at supplementing. So what I like to do is it's a supplement called Yeast Cleanse, and it is very good for getting rid of yeast overgrowth. Oregano oil works wonders for it. There's also a tea called Pau d'Arco, and that's amazing to like sort of like cleanse and get rid of all the yeast overgrowth. And then finally, essentially what we want to be doing is, you know, once the levels of yeast in our body are more or less balanced, we want to be reintroducing certain groups. Now, when I talk about reintroducing, it doesn't mean like, oh my god, I have no Candida overgrowth, let's go to Dunkin' Donuts, let's eat the whole store. No, we will be able to reintroduce very slowly certain foods. So for example, brown rice, we want to be eating carbs, whole grain breads, kefir, which is an amazing source of probiotics, kimchi as well, fruits that contain less sugar such as blueberries and raspberries, and then slowly building our way up to eventually eating bananas and mangoes, which have higher levels of fructose. I know it is a very restrictive diet, but there's a lot of alternatives that you can find in the supermarket. So for example, I don't usually eat dairy anyways, but the sort of like plant-based alternatives of yogurt that I used to buy do contain sugar, do contain starch. So it was kind of like a little bit hard to find alternatives with, as I said before, no sugars and no starches and all of that. But I did find one type of yogurt that is so good. I found it in Whole Foods, and actually most of the replacements, the good ones, I found in Whole Foods. For yogurt, I found this amazing, like when I tell you guys, it tastes like the creamiest, most yummy yogurt I've ever tried. Take a look at this label. Coconut milk, rice starch. I cannot really have starch, so yep, I don't think I'll be able to get yogurt from Target. Okay, so I saw this vegan coconut yogurt, but I cannot really have this because it's got sugar. So I got this dairy-free yogurt. It's coconut and has no sugar. Then I got olives for my salad. I bought these keto crisps if I want a snack. I bought some coconut water, and then I bought coconut cream in case I need to bake or make curries. I bought cocoa powder, and this is my holy grail, which is cocoa aminos. I use this pretty much every day when I'm making veggies, or if I need to marinate anything, I will use this because it's soy-free and gluten-free. Instead of honey or agave or maple, what I'm doing right now is I'm consuming stevia drops. So I will put stevia drops in my matcha or in my yogurt, or if I'm baking. I've made my own bread, and I promise you guys, it tastes so good. It is so fluffy. When I told my friend about the fact that I made my own bread and the ingredients it contained, she was literally expecting it to be a pancake. And then I brought like a loaf of bread, and she was like, wow. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit my experience with yeast overgrowth. So for many years I had been suffering, like many women, with thrush. I would go to the doctor and they would send me this cream, like the little pill or an oral antifungal whatever, and I would be fine, and then 2 months later I would have it again. I would ask the doctor, like, okay, but why does it keep coming back? What's the cause? Why? And they would never be able to give me an answer. They would say like, oh, it's probably sex, or it's probably your hormones, or it's probably the fact that you're wearing underwear that it's not cotton, and all of these things. And while these things are right and they can make your condition a little bit worse, that is not the root. The root for candida overgrowth comes from here, your gut. For me personally, I've been doing the candida diet for a week now. Again, it is not a long-term diet. It should not be a long-term diet, but for like a couple of months to clear out your yeast, it does work wonders. I hope this video was useful for you guys. Let me know if any of you have ever experienced any of the symptoms that I mentioned in the video, or if you've ever tried the candida diet. I would love to know your opinion. I will see you next time for another video. Ciao.
Figure, can hold liquor, like cigar, can mess with her. One me got, run with her. She's a lot, them digger. No man fi waste your time. Say, no man fi catch your vibe. No, the man can get it right.